Nobody told me these birds would take over my life. I thought I was signing up for a few eggs and a quirky hobby. What I got was Olympic level drama, a poop to body ratio that defies science, and the distinct honor of becoming that person with an incubator in her laundry room. This is everything I wish I knew before getting Coturnix Quail, because it turns out when you raise birds that mature in 6 weeks, lay daily, and hatch like popcorn, things escalate fast. You ever hear people say they'll start laying at 6 weeks? Yeah, cool story. Let me guess. You got your birds, mark the calendar, hit 6 weeks, and nothing. Same. What nobody tells you is how specific these little freeloaders are. If your lighting is off by an hour, they'll stage a silent protest. If it's even a little too cold, they're out. If you so much as breathe wrong near the coop, production pauses. Turns out, quail don't just need light, they need a system. They need 14 to 16 hours consistent light, not sometimes I turn the light on, get a solar timer, and thank me later. They also need feed with 20 to 24% protein. Layer feed, not your leftover chicken scratch. They will not perform on crumbs and vibes. Yes, they will do fine with 17% protein, but they're more likely to stop laying during molting season and putter through the winter. In temperature, they'll survive down to negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit, but if you want them laying strong and steady, you'll want it a little more in the plus numbers. And here's the thing, if they hit maturity without enough light, you can't just add it later and expect results. You have to have the light before they're old enough or they'll delay laying for weeks. Let's talk cages. My first setup, honestly, it was gorgeous, spacious, bright, looked like I was trying to impress HGTV. Also, a total death trap. More for me than for them. I'd have to crawl in and try to avoid their landmines while collecting eggs. I built my pens at 2 feet, which is on the dangerous side. Luckily, I used hardware cloth, so it has a give and I didn't lose any birds. Here's what I didn't realize. Quail don't jump, they launch, like full-body cannonballs. And if your cage is between 24 inches and 6 feet tall, congrats, you built a neck-snapping chamber of doom. One shadow, boom, parkour edition. Every time. So here's what you actually need. If you're doing cages, keep the ceiling under 18 inches. If you're going big, go really big, like 6 feet tall, walk-in aviary status, no in between. Use half-inch hardware cloth, not chicken wire. I know chicken wire is cheap, so is regret. Give them a dust bath, sand, dry dirt, wood ash, maybe a little diatomaceous earth. They'll roll around like they're on vacation, and it keeps mites off. If you're using wire flooring, throw in a rest tray, something flat like a piece of wood or tile so they're not standing on wire 24/7. I've seen a lot of people build an enclosure section with a solid floor. They need at least 1 square foot per bird. And for the love of all things feathered, lock down the top and bottom of your setup. Raccoons, snakes, neighborhood dogs, everyone wants a snack. Don't make it easy. Let's just get this out of the way. You're going to lose a bird. And it'll probably be why you're drinking your coffee feeling good about life. Quail don't get sick the way chickens do. They don't limp around looking pitiful. They don't give you any sort of heads up. They just go. I've walked into the coop more times than I'd like to admit, looked around, everyone's fine, except that one in the corners who's just casually dead. No flapping, no sound, just, I have perished, goodbye. So here's what you need before that happens. Not when you're panicking in your pajamas on a Tuesday morning. Bare minimum first aid kit. Nutri-Drench for energy crashes or emergencies. Electrolytes, especially in summer or after shipping. Epsom salt for soaking if you've got egg binding or injuries. Blue coat. If one gets packed and you don't want them all to turn cannibal. 1cc syringes to actually get anything into their mouth. Poultry vitamins to random weirdness. Quarantine bin or crate, because trust me, isolating a sick bird in the same cage doesn't count. And no, you don't have to name them all. In fact, unless you enjoy emotional instability before 9 a.m., maybe don't. Grab the Quail First Aid Kit PDF in the description, because Googling why is my quail suddenly dying at midnight is not a real emergency plan. Okay, here's the good one. Let's talk about quail math. It's not cute. It's a full-blown identity crisis. You start with 5 birds, totally manageable. Then someone messages you with, hey, want to trade some hatching eggs? And suddenly you're building just one more brooder like it's normal thing to do at 11 p.m. Next thing you know, you're naming bloodlines and arranging breeder set meetups in gas station parking lots. And here's why it happens so fast. Quail eggs hatch in 17 to 18 days. Grow out only takes 6 to 8 weeks. Each hen lays about 300 eggs a year. Half of those babies, males. So yeah, drama. Breeding sets are 1 rooster to 4 hens, so now you're managing ratios like a matchmaking service. And don't lie, you will keep that one random bird with cool feathers just to see what she lays, and suddenly she's your favorite and now you can't sell her. Start with 10. But seriously, know yourself. Because quail math doesn't creep up on you, it ambushes you. Let's address the part no one brags about on Instagram. The smell, the buildup, the sheer volume. Because for birds this small, the poop-to-body ratio is offensive. These birds are the size of a potato, but somehow they produce the waste of a large, judgmental cat with digestive issues. I don't understand the physics of it, I just live with the consequences. Now, wire floors definitely help, but only if you commit to catch trays underneath and, actually empty them. Skip a day or two and it's not cute. It's Ammonia Fest 2025, and your birds are wheezing like they just ran a marathon in a porta potty. Here's what works. Use plastic or metal trays under your cages and dump them daily, like brushing your teeth, non-negotiable. Deep litter method? Only if your setup is outdoors with amazing airflow. Otherwise, it's just a slow compost death trap. If you're raising indoors, sprinkle in PDZ, hemp bedding, or pine pellets to cut the smell of moisture. And ventilation? Yeah, not optional. You need a fan, a window, or a full-blown airflow system unless you're into respiratory drama. Bonus tip. Don't toss the poop. It's basically rocket fuel for your garden once composted. Tomatoes, thank you in advance. Everyone thinks they're going to sell a few eggs and suddenly be the Elon Musk of backyard farming. Spoiler. Posting $5 eggs on Facebook does not build generational wealth. Can you make money with quail? Yeah, but not if your strategy is vibes and hopes. So here's what actually sells. You've got your quail eggs. Those go anywhere from $4 to $6 a dozen, depending on where you are and how bougie your neighbors are. Hatching eggs bring in way more. Think $18 to $35 a dozen, especially if you're shipping and your birds are from solid lines. But shipping eggs, that's a whole separate emotional journey. Then there's breeder sets, usually 4 hens and a rooster. You can price those anywhere from $35 to $50 depending on the quality, age, and whether you smile in your listing photo. And don't forget feeder quail. People with reptiles or raw fed pets love them. You'll get about $2 to $4 each depending on the age, and they're repeat customers if you're consistent. You can also sell laying hens once they're productive, usually $10 to $15 a piece, and chicks once you're past the fragile 2-week phase. People will pay $4 to $10 a bird, but only if they're healthy. Bottom line, if you treat this like a business with systems, pricing, and actual effort, it works. If you treat it like a lemonade stand with birds, you'll be burnt out and buried in eggs by month 2. If you're serious about making money with quail and you don't feel like reinventing the wheel or explaining for the 10th time why your eggs are smaller but more expensive, just grab the course. I'll walk you through everything: pricing, packaging, pitching, where to sell, where not to sell, and how to make this actually work without losing your mind or your weekends. It's called Make Money with Quail, and it's way cheaper than learning the hard way. Links below. Go be the weird bird boss you were meant to be.